Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Black Empowerment 365. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, the happy one herself, Kiana. How you doing, Kiana?
I am wonderful. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. The sun is shining. I had Jamaican food. I'm happy. I'm doing good, and we have yet again another wonderful guest tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I always got to start off the show before we get into our guests, but I know that you've been doing a lot of Facebook Lives, and I don't know that you've done it this week. Have you been doing your Facebook Live this week?
I did. We were doing the 555 to Thrive challenge. And so it has been very fun. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. And so when can we expect your next broadcast?
On Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. All right. Now, of course, we love participation. There's many ways that you can participate. One way you can participate is you can go to our website, and the website is indyradio.org, indyradio.org. Another way you can do is you can call in. The number is 323-522-4601. And a little bit later into the show, if you are on the website and you are watching the video feed, you can come in and ask your questions via Blab. And that is blab, blab.im. All right, so let's get to our guests. I had the pleasure of speaking with this lady last year, and it was an audio podcast. So we get to do it video this time. She's a writer. She's the one and only Miss Sophia Stewart. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'd like to correct that. I'm the writer and owner and creator of the Matrix and Terminator movie franchises, so my fans can know who they're talking to.
That's right. That's right. And we're so happy that you are here to join us. And we're definitely, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that people understand who you are and understand your background. Now, I know you've done a lot of media, and you've told your story quite a bit. And you did tell your story on this program a year ago. So let's first start off with, we always like to start from the beginning. So where are you from originally?
I'm from New York City, the Bronx, the Boogie Down.
Boogie Down.
Yes.
Birthplace?
Yeah, I went to graduate school at USC Film School, but I already had a degree in journalism, a double major in law and psychology. I was studying to be a lawyer or a doctor, or both, actually, because I got majors in both.
Nice.
Well versed in law, well versed in medical, also.
Yes, and I know that from our last conversation, I know that you worked in the entertainment industry back in the 80s, was it?
Yeah, I was working at Columbia Pictures. Columbia Studios, rather, because it's one of the studios. And Vice President Dick Barris's office, and the producer Brandon Cahill, Fantasy Island. And I used to work for Channel 13. I'm from New York City with the Academy Award winner or Oscar Award winner, Perry Miller Datto. She's a producer.
Mm-hmm.
She won an Oscar for Dylan Thomas, a documentary.
Now, during that time that you worked there, that's when you started to write the book, The Third Eye, right?
I was writing a book and a script while I was at USC Film School in Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah, that was 30 some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that my book and my script had been used until March the 31st, 1999, when The Matrix came out. I knew nothing about the Terminator in October the 26th, 1984, until the FBI told me about it.
Oh, wow. Now, I want to kind of go back a little bit. For those who may not be familiar about the book, The Third Eye, can you describe it and the script?
Yeah, it's really easy. They're used to books. They're used to the Harry Potter book, Harry Potter movie. All books and movies are not named after each other. There are quite a bit of movies that don't bear the title of the book that they've been adapted from. And you guys are used to Lords of the Ring by J.R. Tolkien and The Hobbit. And of course, Peter Jackson adapted them into the screen, even though J.R. Tolkien was dead, the writer. So you guys are used to this, but you guys just don't understand the process of adapting books and scripts to the screen. It's not rocket science. If you don't have a script or a book with source material, you can't put nothing on the screen. That's why when the writers go on strike, you don't see anything on television. You get to see old reruns. How about that?
Mm-hmm. That's right. And so now the copyright for the book, The Third Eye, I believe is 1980 is the first year of the copyright, right?
No, the copyright is 81, 83, and 84 because there's 3 copyrights.
Right.
Because a book, a script, and add-ons. I did special effects and graphics. That's what you see in the Matrix. That come from me. The graphics, the special effects, the martial arts fighting, the red and the blue pill. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now, for those who may not understand that, when you write a script treatment, part of the process, you get it, you had it copywritten, and then plus the script goes around the industry, and producers and studio heads get a chance to check out your script treatment or your script, and that's what happened during that period of time, right?
No, what happened was I was shopping my work, looking for George Lucas, the director.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Star Wars, and I didn't know he owned Star Wars. I just knew he was the director from the screen credit. So I wanted him to adapt my work because what I wrote was metaphorically the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machines. So that's what you see in the Matrix. The oracle prophecy, where in the future, the machines have dominated and oppressed the people. So a savior child, which is Neo, JC, John Connor, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. It's past, present, and future time travel. And of course, Sarah Connor is his mother. So the Terminators, the prequels, are the beginning of the franchise or the work. Right. I had written so much work, a book and a script. That's a lot of work, astronomical, with graphics and special effects and pictures, the whole 9 yards. So you can't use all of that in one movie. That's why it was several movies made, or 8 movies made.
I think what people don't understand is in 1984, the special effects wasn't that advanced like as it was in 1999. So there was definitely a leap as far as CGI and all of that stuff. Because if I remember correctly, the Terminator 2 came many years after the first one, if I remember correctly.
It came 12 years after 92 because they couldn't do the graphics and special effects that I had created because my work was futuristic. I'm a visionary like Tesla and Leonardo da Vinci. I'm way ahead of my self, in time period. I'm 20 to 30 years ahead. And my book, when people buy it, the copyrights are there. They can pull it up in Washington, D.C., in 1980, I'm talking about microchips. I'm talking about digital downloading, barcodes, computerized warfare with the drones. I'm talking about body scanners, food scanners, things that you guys have not even heard of, the Illuminatis, the Masons. All of this 30 some years before you guys even realized it was around.
Right. And I love the fact that the book is basically a prophecy, right? Can you really explain that a lot more so people can really, because when people watch the movie, they didn't get the full effect of it because, like, I remember you were saying that since they didn't have the actual writing, they couldn't really fully make the movie. So can you really?
Well, it wasn't they couldn't fully make the movie because you can adapt the movies. What they did was they made my work into pictures, just like a comic book. And they made a comic book out of it because that's how comic books are made. They actually are just pictures. And then you add dialogue to the pictures, and that's a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So a movie is basically, it's done that way. You can do it because what you're doing is creating a storyboard or frames, because movies and films are filmed in frames. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's why people are Picasso. You know what I'm talking about? A Goya. Do you see what I'm talking about? You understand that, but it's the same process with the movies. Except in the frame, there may be 100 frames. You know, 1,000 pictures. You know what I'm saying? But they're all expressing and they're moving because you got the camera going around and around. You see what I'm saying? So you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at the frames as they go around, and it makes the images move. But you really understand it from animations. The animations are nothing but a bunch of pictures strung together, and then the actors come into the studios and they do voiceover.
Right.
So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with a movie, except it's live. It's just live people doing it, and then they add the dialogue and the music to it later. But when you guys see it, you think everything is functioning all at one time, but it's not. That's
Now,
the illusion. That's the illusion.
now in 1984, the movie The Terminator came out, and both James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd was the producers of that film.
They
Um,
claimed they were writers for hire. They never claimed that they owned any copyrights. Gail Ann Hurd created what you call a constructive trust. A constructive trust is a dummy company to hold somebody else's work without the author's permission. It's to try to keep yourself out of jail because you don't want to put your name on some stolen products.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you say the company owns the script and the book, and then you sell it from there to Hemdale Films from the company selling to another company. This way you can kind of basically stay free of RICO, stay from going to jail. And when you look at the copyright documents, it shows on the copyrights that they're not the owners. It says they're writers for hire, and
mhm.
that Pacific Western and Hemdale Films own the script and the book.
Now, during my research about this, I saw that James Cameron actually did admit to some plagiarism with the first Terminator film, and there was a lawsuit of another writer, but it was another aspects of the film.
No, that was not a lawsuit with Harlan Ellison. All of that's internet, excuse my language, bullshit. You can
Okay.
go on YouTube right now and pull up Harlan Ellison, an old white science fiction writer from the 50s and the 60s, and he'll tell you that he did not create the Terminator. What happened was James Cameron stole some of his teleplay from
Right.
Demons with a Glass Hand and Soldier. Teleplay is what you call the background. It's
Mm-hmm.
staging. It's what, just like if you come inside of a house and you see in the house, you see a piano, you see a couch and chairs, that's called teleplay. Then, but when you see people talking and acting, that's the writing, that's the work.
Mm-hmm.
So Harlan Ellison came from the 50s and 60s, so he didn't even know what a naked microchip cyborg was. Because I was born in the digital age. He was born in the Iron Age with H.G. Wells' old Iron Age clankety clank work.
Mm-hmm.
So they wasn't science fiction writers like him, white science fiction writers. They were not putting anything naked on the screen. They came from a different generation, a different era. They wasn't putting any toilets on the screen. Husband and wives was in twin beds. Come on, you guys, wake up.
Yeah.
And there's no way Harlan Ellison could have even come up or understand the concept because he didn't even know what computers were. He never, he learned that later on. But I was actually playing computer games in 1980 while I was at USC Film School writing this work.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know what digital downloading is. He doesn't know and James Cameron doesn't either. And naked, microchipped, cloned cyborg, naked without shame. coming out of time traveling, coming out of a blue flame. James Cameron, when you see his 2 pages, which I'll send over to you, that you're going to laugh at, he called a naked microchip cyborg, a machine, he called him a shapeshifter, a hitman from the future. That tells you what era he comes from, because he's older than me.
Right.
So, because they come from different generations,
Right.
different eras.
Mm-hmm.
And people also need to realize too, the film that he did before that was like Piranha 3 or some crap like that.
Yeah,
and
that was his first film. That was his first film, but they don't want to tell people that was his first film, and that the Italian investors were really pissed at him, because it's a B movie and it's horrible. He doesn't even want to lay claim to it. It's just so sad, but that was actually his first work. They tried to create his PR people that he's some brilliant science fiction writer, and that he's way ahead of the curve, but he's just a liar and a thief. And I've said this on numerous shows, and I've never gotten any lawsuits, any slander, or anybody saying that I'm a liar. Because you know what I would do? I would terminate him like the Terminator that I created. And how would I terminate him? I would terminate him with the truth and evidence to show unequivocally that he stole Avatar. And that he stole Avatar from Stephen J. Perry, who was a brilliant writer from the 80s, such as myself, because a lot of great writers came out of the 80s. You know what I'm talking about? That era from the 80s to 89, a lot of phenomenal writers. And their work was pretty much stolen, and people with their names on it. But I could show you exactly Avatar is nothing but the screen treatment of ABC Disney's Pocahontas. And I can show you, Steve, that's right. A little 13-year-old boy figured it out. He crossed out Jake's name, the real name, John, and put Jake there. And the real Pocahontas name, and put the lady's name from So all he did was just from gold to titanium. You guys will be so shocked. I'm going to send it over to you guys. And guess what? You're never going to be the same ever again. You're going to really understand what the Matrix is and how it wakes you up out of these lies and illusions and these programs that are pulled down over your face and make you think that something is going on when it's not.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to address some of the questions in the chat. She actually won the lawsuit. They're asking about the lawsuit, because when you research and you Google your name, what comes up is basically from the top, it shows when you were actually first started the lawsuit back, I think in 2005. And so as it progressed, I think it was a 6-year long. It was about 6 years.
Well, the second lawsuit was 7 years long. And what is going on when people pull up the truth or try to find the truth, they get the smear. Warner Brothers and these studios are trying to smear me. And whenever any fans come on and bring evidence and correct snoops, they still go back and change it back to the same old crap, the lie. And they don't want people to know the truth. They paid the media not to cover, because it'll go viral, that I won, that I beat them. They don't want anyone to know. And so what I've been doing is giving out the documents to the fans, and the fans have been posting it everywhere. And some people don't want to believe it, because you know why? Some people don't want to know the truth. They rather deal in a lie, and they want to believe that somebody else did something. But it's obvious to you that James Cameron did not write the Terminator, and he doesn't own it. Anybody that writes the Terminator would not let other people make a mockery of their work. Prince would not let anybody make a mockery of his work. Michael Jackson, Barbra Streisand, Madonna. Come on, you guys. You don't say, I don't want to have nothing to do with Terminator. I've moved on to something else. Terminator is one of the greatest franchises in the world. Made billions of dollars, and it's not broken. But they couldn't steal it and try to change the concepts.
Now, one of the things that, once again, to address everybody in the chat room, one of the things that, what you see is the original lawsuit. And so to really explain what she's really trying to explain, if you want to elaborate too, when you think about Hollywood, you think about media, you explained in a lot of the interviews that you've done that they pretty much own 95% of media. So
That's
they're
correct.
able to control what is distributed and what people are seeing. So when you go on Google, as we're so used to doing, we go on Google, we research things, and we find that, okay, this has to be solid. This has to be the truth. But if you understand the entire litigations to it, you will understand that she did win the lawsuit, and she is the creator, author, and writer of The Matrix and The Terminator.
I think also too, people don't understand about Hollywood and their history of theft of intellectual property. I mean, there's so many films like Gravity, for example. They just proved that was stolen. And you made an interesting point the last time we had a chat. You talked about how the reason why there's so many reboots and remakes is, you said that a lot of writers that are really good writers don't want to send their stuff in anymore because of the theft. Can you talk, because people don't really understand how Hollywood works. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, because Hollywood gets a free pass with the government because they do a lot of the government's, you know how the government has a lot of programs and they want people to believe certain things, propaganda. So they get Hollywood to do a lot of their propaganda movies. And then when they want to like incorporate war or do some recruitments, they have Hollywood to play all the old army and military movies, actually recruiting a lot of the young boys, I'm talking about. So this is why people in Hollywood has not been arrested, a lot of them, because they've been paying off to the government and getting free passes for doing their dirty work. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of other things going on there, but it's mostly payola and propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
So Hollywood steal all the time. Like, come on, this lady, she's an Asian woman. Her name is Tess. Anybody can Google her right now. She wrote Gravity. She has a book called Gravity. She wrote the script for the Gravity, what you see Sarah, the actress Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, yeah.
And excuse me. So come on now. Hollywood doesn't write books. Hollywood does not write scripts, you guys. Grow up and learn something, that Hollywood either buy it or they steal it. Like when they did John Grisham's Pelican Brief and John Grisham's The Firm, they bought it from him. Right. They bought that. When you saw Harry Potter, they bought Harry Potter from J.K. Rowling, you guys. But there's a lot of people that they steal from. Tatiana Ali, she's an actress. She's got a lawsuit right now against some of the stations for stealing her, show, The Real. I think it's against one of the studios, actually. But anybody can Google it and pull up the court case. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why the fans want to believe in the fantasy that Hollywood, want to think that Hollywood doesn't steal. I don't get that part at all. Why they think that people have to sit up there and lie when they have copyrights. Why do they think people have to lie when they have books? And I'm selling Matrix and Terminator around the world. I can't go and put my name on Google or put my name on Apple or Nike and sell it. The feds will come in and arrest me.
Right.
But yet they see my book, Matrix 4, fourth installment of The Matrix, selling around the world, and they're buying it, but they're going to have disbelief. Be for real now. Come on with this now. This is sad. Sad that did I get a free pass because I'm black? I didn't see that because they're killing black people. So how am I getting a free pass?
Right. Also, too, I don't think people understand that through this time with the lawsuits and you making your story public, there's been some intimidation as well aimed at you as well. I don't know that people understand that as well. Can you speak to that? Some of the intimidation that they've tried to use to get you to stop?
No, they've never used intimidations. What they've been doing is sabotaging and putting Trojans into my websites and destroying my websites. That's what they've been doing, and petty stuff. they've been paying a lot of people to do a lot of petty things that are very annoying, that would discourage some people. But they have never threatened me because the FBI said they would come in and arrest them. They don't want to try to harm me because it'll open up a can of whip ass on them, where the whole public will finally know the truth about everything that they lost, and that they couldn't get me because they wouldn't put anything into the courts, any fraud. The first court case was shut down by 4 attorneys of 4 law firms that they paid to come in and prevent me from putting evidence into the court system or sending them to jail, because that was my agenda, was to get damages. I didn't have to prove that I own the Matrix and Terminator. That was simple because they own the copyrights, and then the government turns around and gave me the copyrights to all the derivative movies because they're derived from the Third Eye book. And the 4th installment is all brand new. It's continued work. They don't want to steal that because, see, copyrights protect the more original work is, and it's never been on the screen ever, the greater protection you have. And it can be traced back by the Copyright Office where you stole every picture, where you stole every line, like "I'll be back." That comes from me. We'll be back. He comes back as 3 different cyborgs: the red and the blue pill, the numbers coming down, the binary codes, the 1 and the 0. When you look at the Third Eye book, you see the numbers. It goes all the way back to ancient Kemet, where we taught them, or people, their science and their math.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix and computers is about mathematics. Matrix is a Latin word, that means the woman's womb, a 7,000-year-old word that comes all the way from the King James's Bible. And you go in Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse, God says, "He who opens up the matrix, or my children coming out of the woman's womb." Now, 2 individuals that are homosexuals, who are transsexuals, because you cannot be a woman if you don't have a womb. The difference between a man and a woman is this womb, this matrix that a woman has, her stargate, her portal that brings in God's children, which are 3-dimensional beings. First in the womb, for the first 11 weeks, you're nothing but blood, water, and spirit. The 2D body is the physical body where the mother eats from the dirt of the earth. And for 9 months and 36 weeks, she's creating a vehicle that houses that blood and spirit and water. And then the soul comes at the 12th week and attaches itself to the body, which is the vibrations, which is the magnetism. And you're like a magnet, holds everything together. So magnetism is life, it's vibration, it's energy. That is the 3rd body. And this is why a doctor will not perform an abortion at 12 weeks, because if he does, he's killing a living soul. And this is why in the Matrix, which has never been explained to you guys, why the ones in the Matrix are 3-dimensional beings. Their shadow bodies or astral bodies are going up and down the telephone lines. Their physical bodies are asleep in the ship. And the agents are the bacteria. They're the viruses. Agent Smith. He can never be a good guy, and neither can Pop Terminator. Schwarzenegger being the Terminator. Terminators and agents are not programs, or not good people. There never will be the one. Do you see what I'm talking about? So they want to confuse people, because when you look in the Matrix, it's people of color, and that's what Black people are, people of color, the rainbows, saving the world. It's not Spider-Man, it's not Superman, it's not Batman, and it certainly isn't Spider-Man saving the world, or Iron Man. You see what I'm talking about?
Right.
In the Matrix, the whites are the bad guys. Agent Smith and all the agents, government agents, they are the bad guys. They are the virus. They are the problem. And the rebels and the rebels
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Revolution starts.
Oh no.
Oh, here we go.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Okay, it froze
Yeah,
for
I
a
was
little bit.
telling that. Yeah, that Neo is an anagram for the one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mhm.
Uh-oh. All right. I think we lost her. Just come back in. My bad. Having a little technical difficulties. We are here with Sophia Stewart, and we will be taking callers in just a moment as our guest comes back. So just hold on. Don't worry. We're going to get to everybody's questions. I know you guys have a lot of questions. We will get to you in a minute, whoever that is trying to come in. Urban Vision Mag. We're going to get to you in a minute. We're going to let our guests come back in. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back. Sorry about that.
What happened is that it's going to go out whenever my phone rings. And so I have control over that. Yeah.
That's fine.
So I hope you bear with that,
Thank you. No problem. Please continue what you were speaking about.
Yeah, I was telling you guys that Neo, JC, John Connors grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. And what happens is that when you see the Terminator, you see him actually going towards the city. And the Terminator is coming to try to kill the mother so the baby would not be born. That's going to destroy them, which is part of the Oracle's prophecy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see the second part of the Terminator, you see that he's a boy, he's a teenager. And this teenager he doesn't know consciously, he's not awakened consciously, so he doesn't know why the Terminator is trying to kill him. And then when you see the third Terminator, he's a man child, and as you can see that he's going towards the city, and so he ends up in the city, and nothing happens again until he reaches the age of 30 years of age. That's when the rebellion or the revolution starts, and that's when the rebels actually come and awaken him to his purpose. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? And then he has to go through training, and he has to go.
Mm-hmm. I think you're getting a little far from your Wi-Fi.
Revolution.
Where your Wi-Fi
is it messing up?
Yeah. You probably got a little, but yeah. All right, so we will. We're back.
Right.
Yeah, can you guys see me?
Yes, we see you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put it where I can, kind of like where you can actually, because I'm having a little problem with my phone, because every time someone calls in, it actually knocks you guys out.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can you see? Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Like I was telling you guys, what was I saying?
Oh, you were telling us. Yeah, you were telling us about the evolution of the Terminator, and about how in the second one that he's a boy and he goes to training.
Yeah, I was telling you about actually how he is hidden in the city, and then once he reaches a certain age, he doesn't, like, he sleep consciously. This is where the evolutions of consciousness comes in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he sleep consciously, and so he doesn't know who he is. But then the rebels come in, and when he reaches 30 years of age, they come in, they take him to Morpheus, and Morpheus is like the John the Baptist character. He has to prepare him for the way. He teaches him how to fight, how to prepare to fight these machines. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what's going on, because I'm breaking down all the elements in the movie where people don't understand. And when you see these children with the oracles, the little boy bending the spoon, those are the indigo kids. Those are the kids that was talked about in the first coming of the Christ, because mine is talking about the second coming of the Christ, where you go into Revelations, and Revelations tell you that that the Christ consciousness is going to come back on the earth, and that we can be like him but greater. You know what I'm talking about? We'll have greater skills. We'll have greater things. He come to embody this physical body, so he can overcome all and any adversity here on the earth.
Yeah, I really want to kind of go a little bit into that so people can really understand, because I know in one of the interviews that you did, you explained that you wrote yourself in the book and you are actually the oracle, and
yes,
really expand more about the symbolism, like you said, with the wound, and how closely tied it is to the spiritual realm and spirituality, and basically the coming of Jesus. I mean, of God coming back.
Yeah, well, that's why they keep calling Neo, "You're my personal savior," and they reference Christ. And you with Trinity, they reference.
Okay. All right. We're having, once again, some technical issues. We're waiting as our guest comes back. Yes, we're back.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, but every time I'm on my iPhone doing this interview, and I hope the fans will please overlook that, because every time someone calls me, it knocks out my feed.
Yeah, I think there's a way to make it where it doesn't do that, but I'm not an iPhone expert, so
well, why don't you bear with me? Why don't you guys bear with me? Because I'm going to be stationary, and then I'll go into the settings and see if I can turn off the ringer.
Oh, okay.
That way I won't get any interruptions, but just give me, bear with me for a moment, and I will do that. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to talk, and I thank Kiana for really, speaking for me. But I want to answer all of my fans' questions. I want to tell them what all the symbolism means, but they are picking up the spirituality. It's right there in your face. Mm-hmm. There's no way, like in Revelations, it says that the Christ consciousness is going to come back. When you look at the word, the third eye is talking about the eye of God, because on earth here we have two eyes, but there is a third eye, which is an all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful eye, and that is the eye or the Spirit of God. And of course, it referenced our pineal gland, the third eye, which opens us up to consciousness. And this is why so many people are so phenomenally interested in the Matrix from around the entire world, all race, color, creed, nationality, tongue, or they're really into the Matrix and Terminator. I know because my work is selling globally around the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of people who are very conscious and are awakened, Now, so if they have any questions, I would love to answer their questions.
Yes. Real quick, one more thing too. I want to say is that your characters in the novel were made for Black characters, all the heroes, right?
Well, there are Black superheroes, because when you look at Morpheus, you look at Lawrence Fishburne, you look at the Oracle, Gloria Foster, Marcus Chung, Nona Gay, Jada Pickett, Henry Perina, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, But the other people, Carnell West, the boxer, I can think of his name now. But if you look at all these black people, this is a science fiction with black people or people of color saving the world. Because in white science fiction, like including Star Wars, it was only one or two black people in any white science fiction, and they usually died out the first 10 minutes of the movies, and they usually cause the whites problems.
Right.
So these are black superheroes. The late Julian Bond, he called me several times and talked to me and thanked me for giving our kids black superheroes. And I was written about in the newspaper, the Los Angeles Sentinel, about a unusual black science fiction for the first time. And Will Smith was chosen not because he was black, but because Muhammad Ali was the actual role model for the Neo character. And of course, Will played him in the movie Ali. And the Terminator was approached, O.J. Simpson was approached for the Terminator, but Schwarzenegger ran under him to get the role. Actually ran under him.
A lot of people don't know that too. That they wanted OJ to play the Terminator initially, and then also, like you said, Will Smith to play Neo. And Will Smith turned it down to do Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West, yeah, he played a white man, Jim West.
I know, isn't that weird, right?
Yeah, it was really weird. And Keanu Reeves, he's not white. His father is Asian Polynesian, and Carrie Ann Moss is Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you see, the white people are the bad guys. They're not the heroes saving the world in the Matrix.
Right.
And the first Matrix made and won 4 Oscars and made over $1 billion because ABC interviewed me. And they tried to whitewash.
Right.
Yeah, people are still.
So we have some people that want to call in, and let's go to our first caller.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
Awesome.
We're going to our callers. We just call back in. Uh-oh. Okay, here he comes. And we'll get.
Oh, we just lost her.
Yeah.
She'll come back in. Well.
Okay, I'm on there right now, Miss Sophia. Yeah, wait a minute. Okay.
How you
guys doing tonight?
Now, what's your name and where you from? Hello?
She said she's coming right back in a few seconds.
Okay. What's your name and where you calling from?
Back with you guys. Go ahead.
All right.
Can he hear you? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't think he can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Well, he wanted to come on. His name is Rob Williams, and he wanted to come on. And he was trying to get in on my phone. That's why I got knocked off.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, there you go.
Wonderful. There you go.
How you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
All right.
Thank you for being patient with us. I wanted her to finish what she was saying so we can take people in. So thank you so much for being patient. I'm so glad that you were able to join us.
This is one of the greatest women in our time that our time has not even been ready for. I have known Miss Sophia for the past 13 years now, 14 years.
Yes.
Miss Sophia was on the phone with Mr. Bob Johnson, BET. She got off the phone to answer my phone call, and I interviewed her in my kitchen on my mother's birthday. I still have the tape. Everything that she is talking about, I have on a small tape. I've had this since 2000, and I think we've known it for 10 years, but I was reading for 3 years prior to that. I've had this tape for 10 years, and I still have it to this day. as she was speaking and as she's talking, and I'm writing all these notes down, and I got it scribbled and everything else. And she's saying the mother of the Matrix, and people didn't know what I was talking about. They thought I was crazy. I took this to my professors. I even know a gentleman who claims he went to school with the Wachowski brothers, which are now the Wachowski sisters, by the way.
Right.
When I confronted him, I said, well, Miss Sophia's on the phone right now. Do you want to talk to her? He wouldn't get on the phone. Remember that, Miss Sophia? He wouldn't get on the phone?
Yes, I remember.
This was 10 years ago. A professor at Columbus State Community College argued with me. I'm talking about argue with me to death. Oh, she didn't do this. She didn't do that. I said, it's her body of work. What I did for Miss Sophia was this. I rented Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and Terminator 3. I rented Matrix 1, 2, and 3. And what I did was I put 2 and 2 together. And she kept saying it and talking and talking and talking. And I said, wait a minute. If John O'Connor is the baby of the future, and he's not born yet, but he's the savior of the new world. Then I thought about Neo, and I said, wait a minute. So I got on a scratch pad and I wrote it down. I put Neo. And then I start thinking, I said, well, wait a minute. If John O'Connor is the chosen one, wait a minute. I took the word Neo and I spelled one. She never told me this. She never told me this. I ran across the street and rented all 6 movies. How you watch them is like this. And she would verify this because she created it. You watch Terminator 1, Terminator 2.
That's correct.
Matrix 1, Matrix 2,
Correct.
Terminator 3, Matrix 3. The Terminator is her chapter 3 and 4 that they left on the floor. When they left this on the floor, they made a movie. But let me ask you a question. In 1987, Mr. James Cameron claims he bought this movie from his wife, from a dream she had for $1. Am I correct?
That's correct. He said he paid he got $1.
He paid that, right?
You know,
if you go back and look at when the Terminator came out, the Terminator came out in 1984. So how did you have a dream 3 years later and make the movie 3 years before? Can you explain that to me?
He's a lawyer.
This case, because life coach and Miss Kwani, you have no idea. I have no idea. I have court documents. I have paperwork, official documents that she sent me over years and years and years. They are trying to blackball this woman so tough and so much. They sent her a fake publicist, a fake lawyer, a fake representative, and also the phone company, your AT&T. They have no record of her talking to nobody from no movie theater, nowhere, when they was trying to negotiate with her, and all of the documents and phone records disappeared. Now, how does that happen? And we're in a digital world.
Right.
How does that happen?
Right.
She won her case, just to let you know. She is the mother of the Matrix. I stand by it. And when she talks, all you got to do is listen.
Absolutely.
When she talks about the third eye, when she talks about the oracle, she's talking about a woman. That's what she's talking about. She's the oracle. She's the mother of the Matrix giving birth. And like she said, she wrote this about Black actors, fictional actors that do what? Save the world. In every action movie that we saw Caucasian men and women saving the world. That ain't true.
And this is what people are tired of in the movie theaters right now. Now movies the same. Like back in the 70s, they had the Black exploitations movie because Hollywood didn't make any more money because even the white people were sick of their lies. So now it's back to that same thing again. The white people are leaving the theaters in droves because they're sick of the lie. They know the white man is not saving the world. It's people of color around the entire world saving the world.
Exactly. We got a person that just came on, David Penner, number 5. David Penner doesn't have his facts together. He's talking about that Miss Sophia. He's saying that you don't have you failed to raise tribal issue regarding the fact that Cameron and Heard accessed
he is. Let me tell you what he's doing. He's reading some old stuff from that old law.
Exactly. He don't even know nothing about it.
he needs to get in time. I won in 2014 in a second court case.
Exactly.
In the federal courts. Get with it and get out of the past.
There you go.
Get out of the past, because you know what? The past is not going to get you anywhere. You need to get into the future. You need to read the Utah transcript. And the Utah. Go to my website, truthaboutmatrix.com. Look under the legal news and read the real news.
Exactly.
Get out of the smear and get into the real.
I think what you had stated was very valid, because earlier when I tried to go to the website, it wasn't working for me. So when you said that they're sending like Trojans to your website and trying to have people to stop people from going to your site, I believe that. And as she explained as well, she would not.
Guys, I'll be right back, guys, in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As she explained that there's no way she will be able to continue to use the Matrix or Terminator without actually legally, without being able to go to jail. Like she said, I can't go and represent Nike because I'm not the creator of Nike. Like she said, she made a great example. I can't go represent Apple because I didn't create Apple. So there's no way that she will be able to continue to write and continue to use the name of it without legally. She wouldn't be able to do it. So she did win the case. She did win the case in 2014, and everything, Miss Sophia, what they're seeing, you're right, is everything that I saw was all old. It was 2005, it was 2006, and all the litigation was so old and was stating that you did not win. But the facts are the facts. The facts are the facts. She did win in 2014.
Let me tell you, when I was on Carrie Cassidy's show, they tried to actually close down her whole site when she told the truth, that I won the lawsuit, that I'm the owner and the creator and the writer of the Matrix and Terminator franchises. And I own the trademark, I own the copyrights, I own everything. And it's such a great shock to these people and the haters out there, because they wanted Matrix and Terminator to be white. They wanted it to be white like white rice, white sugar, white bread. I'm sorry, but I can send you a poster with all the black people. So how can it be white? How can the Matrix be white? The bad guys are the white guys. Come on, you got to face this. You got to face this and stop the smearing, stop the hating, because these people who lied to you, you guys need to do something about that. You need to demand the truth. You need to demand that it goes out in the public, the truth, because you know what? You're owed the truth. This is what the Matrix is all about. Waking you up from the programs and the illusions and the lies. But you want to stay plugged into the Matrix. You want to stay plugged into the lies. You want to keep reading something from 2005. Come on, wake up now. That's sad. That's very, very sad that you're reading about something in 2005 and you don't know about a lawsuit that took place in 2007 and just ended in 2014, September the 25th. Mm-hmm. Because the media will not give you the news and tell you the truth. You want to keep digging up the lies. And you're looking at the paperwork, because there's a lot of people that support the truth, and they're putting the truth in these people's faces, and they refuse to believe it. Yet they're buying the books and they're reading it, because there's a lot of fans that love the Matrix. So I'm telling the truth. They're buying the book around the entire world. And I'm talking about, I can show you guys letters from Australia, from China. You know what I'm talking about? From London, Peru. Mm-hmm. What about that, you guys? And guess what they're saying in the foreign countries? They said it's a sad thing that the American government would not protect the Black woman's copyrights. That's what all the foreign countries, the people in the foreign countries are saying. And that the only ones that are dummy down is in America. That Americans are the only ones that can get a lie and accept the lie and won't dig for the truth.
Yeah, and people have to understand that both the Terminator and the Matrix are multi-billion-dollar.
No, billions, billions.
Yeah, that's what I said. Multi-billion
Billions.
dollar franchises, and these people will do anything to protect that. They'll do anything to try to protect that. And I think people don't quite understand really what goes on behind the scenes. A lot of things that you see on television is stolen. A lot of stuff. You'd be surprised. You'd be shocked. I know so many screenwriters who literally had their stuff stolen from them, and they have all the proof and everything, but because they run the system, and then they want to work continuously, that sometimes they don't say anything because they want to work. And then another reason why they don't say anything is because they use their mic to keep them out. So, but it's something that, like you said that a lot of the good writers go to television because they have they're part of a writing staff rather than having their original work just get out there like that and stolen. So that's why, if you notice, a lot of the better content is on television versus the movies a lot of time. Or people will go to the TV, then go to the movies, or put it in a book first, and try to get it sold like that. So, so what we want to do is we want to give people an opportunity to hop in and ask questions. So there is an open seat. So I know Fitzgerald had some questions that he wanted to ask. I know his had went up. So come on in, Fitz, and ask your question. So.
And I personally, I would love for everyone I encourage everyone to go purchase the book and read the book and really make a determination, since most of us have seen the movies, right? We all seen the movies, but I encourage you to go read her book. And so once you read the book, and we all know this is a fact, whether you believe it or not, the fact is that she wrote it prior to the movies. So once you read the book, you can see the similarities for yourself.
Yeah, and you know what's so sad is they use verbatimly in the Enter the Matrix video game. They use verbatimly my images. They copy the images. I mean, just pathetically, so horribly. They didn't know that in the future that the internet and the computer was going to bust them. Because if you wrote the Matrix and Terminator, then you would have known that in the future it was going to bust you out, and how big it was going to be.
Now we have a guest. A caller just called in. What is your name and where you calling from?
Hey everybody, I'm Danny Quick, aka the Ace Blade. I appreciate y'all having me on. How you doing, Miss Sophia?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm doing pretty good. I just want to thank y'all, man. This has been a really good episode. I'm new to Blab, but this has been really educational. I'd heard about the court case, and stuff like that in the past, and I hope that you get everything that you're due, Miss Sophia, because as a writer myself, I know how it can be trying to protect your work, and what you were saying about how you wouldn't let anybody desecrate your work really resonated with me. I think that's why you're so passionate about continuing the fight, and how I know when I saw Matrix 3, I mean not Matrix 3, but Terminator 3, I was like, man, they really messed it up. They really messed it up. But I if I were you, I would continue to fight also, if since
well,
it's
you know
your
what,
work.
you know why they messed it up? Because they didn't understand my concept. They were trying to steal it and change the concept and make it their own. It's the same way that somebody come into the school system and steal your jacket. They try to make it their own because everybody knows that's your coat. So they'll put patches on it. They'll put badges. They'll write all over it. Trying to change the identity. The same way when you steal a car, some people try to paint it, another color, or take some rims off, add some lights to it. Something, they always try to make it their own when they steal. But you can see right through that.
Yes, ma'am.
The VIN number, the copyrights, prove that it's not yours. The deed to the house, because even if you fake some papers, the real deed is on file.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is people, I don't know. They know about theft. they've been stolen from. You know, they got money stolen from them. They got houses stolen from them in the banking fraud. You know what I'm talking about? They got cars stolen from them. They even got wives and children and everything stolen from them. This is no different from any other theft. Theft is theft, no
Yes,
matter
ma'am.
what it is. You know what I'm talking about? And they need to own up to it. It's not right for anyone to steal something because they can't steal your creativity. They can't steal the gift that God has given you. They can only put their names, but they can't replicate and duplicate the work.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to know. It's another book that I wrote, The Continuations of the Matrix, Matrix 4. And you can get it. It's on my website, and it's also sells on Amazon,
Okay.
Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble. I have licensing deals with all these people
That's
and
what I
other
was gonna.
bookstores. You know about
That's,
that, right?
no, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if there was a continuation of it because I'll definitely buy the book.
Yeah, it's a continuation. It's called, my website is truthaboutmatrix.com. And people, you know, the foreigners, I tell them they can get theirs from Amazon, but anybody's free to get it from Amazon. If you don't want to get it directly from me, you still will be buying it from me because I'm the one who made the licensing deals with these different book companies and
Yes, ma'am.
stores and so forth, you know? And people need to get it and read it. And they have like reviews on Amazon also. And you can buy the ebooks for people who have tablets,
Yes, ma'am.
you know?
Well, I do
I just
appreciate
want
it.
people,
Mhm.
to get the truth out there, you know, and stop all of this lies and get everyone to support the truth. And these media, ask the media, why haven't they covered this story? You know what I'm talking about? The win, when I won, why wasn't it covered? Ask
Oh,
yourself those questions.
oh, we know why it wasn't covered. We know why.
Oh yeah, just
We know
like
why.
we know about how they do the cover up on Black
Mm-hmm.
lives, the killing on Black
That's right.
people. I think Black people are waking up more and more in 2016 than they have ever awakened ever in life. I mean, I expected Obama to go on, you know, on national TV, because if I was president, I would have went on national TV and I would have made this statement. I would have said, no one is above the law. I don't care who you are, what company you work for, what you do in life. No one is above the law. If you murder anybody or someone, you're going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because the law works both ways. And I come from law enforcement and military, and I'm telling you from God, you know, from a God spirituality, that law, you know, that killing is not right. I don't care who does it. You know what I'm talking about? That is
Yes, ma'am.
wrong.
We have a I was in the military also. I was actually a medic, and not to get off topic, but I know we were talking about it the other day that one of the reasons that they feel like they can kill that they can treat people in the black community the way that they do is because there's no kind of there's nothing that's going to happen to them if when they do. When I was in the military, we had rules of engagement, and um we had punishment if we were to step outside of what we were supposed to do. If we didn't go by our rules of engagement, there was J code there that said, okay, you were wrong and you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. These officers aren't they're not held to that kind of standard, so they don't really care. It seems like they don't really care. And I know that they're good officers because I was deployed with some, but that's just you know, in America that's just how it is right now.
There was no oops, I made a mistake. You was still going to your butt was still going to prison.
Right.
Court martial. Yes. Well,
I
thank you.
yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate y'all having me on. I really do. I'll be
Mhm.
following y'all. Appreciate it.
All right. All right.
Yeah, because murder is murder no matter who's involved.
All right. We have a let's see. Well, hold on one second. Urban Fitz had a question. He's gonna get his question in. How
Hey,
you
how are
doing?
you?
All right.
Good evening.
Yes. Your name?
Yes,
It's
hi. How you
it's an
doing?
audio podcast as well. What's your name?
A. Fitzgerald Hartnett, visibility and lead generation expert. Miss Sophia, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Look.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on to ask me questions. I appreciate it.
All right. In your experience
very
and
much.
going through what you've gone through, what are some tips that you can give aspiring creatives to make sure or minimize the chance of this happening to them?
Well, you cannot, this is the truth. No one can stop anyone from stealing or killing you. There's nothing to stop there. Only thing that you can do is protect yourself by having, copyrights and like the Constitution say, bear arms so you can protect your property. I mean, because those things are your legal rights. You have the right to the pursuit of happiness, just like the Constitution was saying. And you have a right for it to be, due process of the law. So they have taken a lot of my rights, but that didn't stop me. And they have prevented, it was crooked judges, crooked lawyers, crooked FBI agents, crooked prosecutors and stuff like that. But that didn't stop me. You see what I'm talking about? That didn't stop me. Mm-hmm. And anything should never stop anyone. If you want justice, you have to go forth to get it. Sometimes you have to take it.
Absolutely.
And you have to be prepared. Be prepared to defend it.
Absolutely. So,
because this is real.
So my next question is about approximately how much money did it cost you to defend yourself and defend those rights that you worked so hard to obtain?
It was probably about $2 million because it was a 7-year case, the second case. The first court case was less than a year because nobody won that case and no one lost that case. All they wanted that case shut down because it was a RICO case and they were going to go to jail for stealing copyrighted work. And so the second court case, which I got help from the grassroots people, because people gave me anywhere from $5 upwards into $50,000. And it was ongoing. And these are the grassroots. It wasn't the celebrities now. I got the pictures with them. I got invited to their events. Jesse Jackson, all of them. I can name a lot of them. I don't even have to name them. Some of the most wealthiest celebrities in the world, senators, politicians, mayors, they blinged with me, but they didn't give me a dime to my knowledge unless they sent some money over anonymously. Now, there was a lot of people that did do that anonymously, but I got to say that God's people, the grassroots people, were the ones who put their money where their mouths were and paid for the truth. $2 million for that 7 years. And 3 white law firms still try to sabotage me in that case. I had to have the judge to court order them off and go in there and win it myself.
So,
and I'm not joking.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you. For me, it's just a matter of being ignorant to it because I had no idea because I didn't even know you existed until tonight, to be honest with you. And so that is everything you're saying to me is like, okay, wow, I didn't know. So who'd you finally win your award against? Like, who was the defendant that had to pay you the money?
I won the defendants, the Wachowski brothers, James Cameron, Gail and her, all of them came into the Utah court case. If you think I'm joking, you can see their names. And I know some of the people here that are hosting the show, they saw the transcripts. Did you guys see their names? That they entered the second court case on their own free will?
Yeah.
And they called themselves interested parties. And they put in a document to ask the judge to award them the $305,000. So if they got the judge to do that, they never won that judgment over in the California case because they were scared of going to jail. If you go and you look at the California transcript, which I will give to anybody, everything that I'm saying and prove it to you, they terminated out of the case, meaning they didn't answer the amended complaints. So that means if you don't answer the complaint when the judge comes down with his ruling, you don't get the ruling. And if you're not there, you can't appeal the ruling. So when I won in Utah, they put themselves in as interested parties, tried to get the $305,000. If the judge had given it to them, they were going to make me pay the $305,000. If I couldn't pay it, they were going to take the copyrights to the Matrix and Terminator. And was one of the dirty ways they were going to try to steal the franchise from me.
So did you have any dialogue with Fishburne?
Fishburne didn't come to
No,
court.
I'm talking
He
about.
was not even asked to come. Oh no, Fishburne, I had dialogue with him. He told everybody. One thing I appreciated about Lawrence Fishburne, you can ask Paul Mooney and Ellen from the WBLS New York. I'm a New Yorker. That Lawrence Fishburne told all the New Yorkers, that I wrote The Matrix and Terminator, and he wanted my phone number. And when he caught up with me at a red carpet, my first red carpet here in Vegas, in 2006, that's when he took those pictures with me.
Okay.
Yeah, all of the celebrities and all of the Illuminatis. I got Illuminati fans, politicians, got political fans. They all know I wrote The Matrix. Now, come on. You know who's stupid about this? It's the common people. They're common. But everybody that's on a higher conscious level, they know I wrote The Matrix and Terminator. These people wouldn't give you the time of day, much less take a picture with you if you were a fraud and you were lying. Now, come on, Danny. Wake up.
I understand. And one of my final questions is, so what do you want your legacy to be? Oops, I'm sorry if I stole you.
My legacy is just beginning.
I'm sorry.
My legacy is just beginning. You know what I'm talking about? There's no end. It's just the beginning. Everything begins again, and it gets greater and greater. And Matrix 4 is coming. So what do you think about that? James Cameron legacy is ended. The Wachowski brothers legacy is ended. Because guess what? Hollywood is not going to give the Wachowski brothers any more money. How's that?
Yeah.
You should be asking them what is their legacy.
They keep farting it around.
It's just the beginning because I'm continuing my work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. How's that? Hey, it's phenomenal. You know, whatever works for you. You know, I'm with you. Go get it.
Hey,
you know?
I mean, hey, if you're Prince and you're still here, you're gonna be still doing Prince.
Right.
And if you're Michael Jackson and you're still here, you're gonna be doing Michael Jackson or Tupac. I'm Sophia Stewart. I'm still doing Matrix and Terminator.
I know that's right.
Say, what can I tell you?
I know that's right. Well, Superstar, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You know, I want to add one thing too. If you look at the careers of the Wachowski brothers and you look at the career of James Cameron, the only so-called original idea they ever had was if you know, The Matrix and Terminator. If you look at James Cameron's work post Terminator, everything he's done since then are either somebody else's intellectual property, or it's some kind of cartoon type stuff. Same thing with the Wachowski brothers. After The Matrix, they did V for Vendetta, which was a graphic novel. They did.
Yeah, that was Alan Moore, the English writer Alan Moore's work, and Cloud Atlas was the writer David Mitchell's work, and Bound was this other writer's name. I can't think of their name. And then they did their own work, was Jupiter Ascending.
And that was
their work, and it bummed because they can't write.
So I want people to think about this. It's so they were so smart, supposedly, to come up with the Matrix, but they can't come up with nothing else original. And you know, that really tells you a lot.
Not only could they not come up with nothing else original, they couldn't even continue the Matrix. They killed out Neo and Trinity, remember? And I had to revive my own work, my own characters, and continue the work and let them know that there's no way you can kill out my work. I'm the creator. I'm still alive and I'm still creating.
And look at James Cameron. James Cameron, if you look at his work post-Terminator, everything that he's done was Titanic, which is obviously based on, and the worst part of the Titanic movie was his so-called original element to the story was terrible, right? The so-called love story. Avatar is, we already talked about it. That's not original.
Yeah, Avatar is stolen. That's why you don't see any more Avatar, because he had like about 12 lawsuits. And one of the same judges that he used, he got the original judge off my case and put his girl, Margaret Mara, on the case. And she's been shutting down cases for James Cameron. It's about 12 lawsuits. She's been shutting down, at least she shut down about at least 3 or 4 of them, maybe 6 of them. She's going to jail when time comes. She's going to jail. She's been paid off with payola.
And right. I got another thief for you guys. that don't get enough talked about is Quentin Tarantino. That dude's been stealing for years. He's supposed to be this great original writer, and every movie he makes is somebody else's work. Blatantly, he's a blatant thief.
Yeah,
and
he's
they
a
say,
blatant thief, and he admits to being a thief, just like James Cameron. This is what's so killing about it. I got documents from the news where they admit they're thieves. Now, who admit that they're thieves except for people who can't write?
right?
And the fans don't want to believe that. They, you know what I found out, that most people don't want to believe the truth when it's put in their face. They don't want to believe the truth, even from the crooks. They don't want to believe the truth. I saw where they're writing a lot of stuff in your chat rooms, and they say, well, I thought you won the lawsuit against a lawyer. What people don't understand is these lawyers were the ones paid by Warner Brothers to sabotage the California case before I could put the evidence in there to be awarded the whole franchise. You see what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
So beating that lawyer overturns the California court case. In the last two judges ruling, they ruled that my work was stolen by the defendants in the California court case, and that they didn't deserve the $305,000 damages, and they awarded it to me in the franchise. And so what people don't understand is they were racist. They didn't want to give me the punitive damages. So I put in $3.5 billion in liens. Because the IRS, you don't need a judge to give you any money. If somebody owes you money, you can lien them up. It's a federal offense to lien up anybody that doesn't owe you any money. You'll go to jail. Now, I put those liens on record into the courts, and the judge did not rule against them. So they're good to go. And if you look on page 4, you'll see that both judges validate the theft, and I entered in the documents proving that the franchise is in, which are the derivatives, belong to me. So the franchise is worth billions of dollars. That's what the fans are not getting. All people think about is how much money did the judge award you? Do you not realize that $100 billion, $200 billion franchises is worth more than any damages you're ever going to get from a judge?
Right.
And that I'm fine with the 300 and some thousand.
That's why they try to protect their intellectual properties, because they it's such a gold mine, and it's like an ATM machine that just kicks out money without barely having to put anything in. So and I think the public really doesn't understand how it works. So that's why there's this disconnect of they don't understand how the system's set up. And you know what? It happens. It is so regularly. They regularly steal from people. It would blow your mind if you really knew the things that are stolen on a daily basis. We hear it all the time in the music industry, how people's work gets stolen all the time. And you don't think it happens in Hollywood? They're the kings of theft.
Yeah, they're the king of theft, but they're the ones who create the illusions and the lies, because they create the movies. And when most fans go to the movies, they see these illusions on the screen. They're seeing, some of their favorite celebrities getting killed on the screen. So, these Hollywood people are very good and very clever at creating illusions. Okay, they can fool you. You think that that person is really getting killed when you look at the movie screen. So can you imagine all of these smear tactics, and they had black writers, black boule writers in the LA Times and the Time magazine. Both of these black writers came up and lied and left out important facts, and they were the ones to smear me, because they wasn't going to send in any white writers, because then I would call discrimination.
Right.
And they know that you will win a due process case immediately. When they were beating Rodney King, and Rodney King got the $22 million, when the Jamaican guy, when they brutalized him over in Brooklyn by sticking a broomstick up him, he won all those millions of dollars. They don't want you to call the race card, because you're going to take their money. So when they come after you, they try to put the black boule on you to destroy you. That's why they had the blacks to kill Malcolm X. They had the blacks to come up against Martin Luther King. You know, if you look and go back at our history, they put black on black. Now, when they put those white attorneys on me, guess who told on the white attorneys? There was one black attorney that told on the white attorneys.
Really?
Yeah, one black law firm. That's how I found out that they was paid by Warner Brothers to sabotage me, because the black attorney told on them. It's all in the court docs. You could actually read it.
Your attorneys were paid by
Warner
the
Brothers.
plaintiff in the case, Warner Brothers, to sabotage your own case.
That's
so
right.
These are the people that's supposed to be helping her. They were in the tank for Warner Brothers, the plaintiff.
Yeah, because see, it was a RICO case, because what happened was the late Johnny Cochran had called for my case because it was criminal. And you know, Johnny Cochran is a criminal lawyer. And he got sick and he died before he could finish my case. But he told me that the black judge on my case, Terry Hatter Jr., would bend over backwards to make sure I got justice, because he was with Martin Luther King during the Civil Rights War era. Well, they knew he wasn't going to be, you know, they couldn't bribe him. So he had a son that was an attorney. So they paid his son to become their attorneys, but they didn't even use him. They just needed the son to get the father off the bench, because a father and a son cannot be in the same case. So they got the father off the case. They brought in this white judge. She's a Scientologist, Margaret Morrow, the one that Cameron is using now. Because what they do is they use the same crooked judges to bribe, to interfere, and to shut down cases. Then the DOJ was a black guy, Eric Holder. You know, he was the the prosecutor, head prosecutor. The attorney general. He did nothing. The Jews had bought him out. He works for them now. They got a job for him as soon as Obama kicks him out of the White House. He knew about the death of the Terminator. He did nothing. He would not prosecute them. They're all tied together. Like the judge in Utah, his cousin was Mitt Romney. They gave Mitt Romney $1 billion of the Matrix money to try to get Obama out of office, to become president, so Obama wouldn't become a president. And they were using Eric Holder to stab Obama in the back. They used the Jewish woman, Deborah Cohen, who used to be the commissioner over at the trademark. They went in there and put in a lot of fraudulent trademarks, and the government caught on to everything. Deborah Cohen's lost her job September the 9th, 2014. Eric Holder lost his job September 25th, 2014, the day I won the lawsuit. Boehner, I said that Boehner was taking slush fund payoffs and he was stabbing Obama in the back. He lost his job a year later, but on the same date, September the 25th, 2014. The judge on my case, D. Benson, he lost his job September the 25th, 2014. Now you ask yourself this question: could that be a coincidence? Because I'm writing up in my legal docs that they are trying to get Obama out of office. They're using slush fund payoffs. They're using Matrix money, because when a CPA got on the witness stand and he said that one of them lost $500 million. That's $500 million, you guys. 500 million is $500 million. How can you lose $500 million when you done made $35 billion off of Matrix and Terminator? What did you do with the $500 million? And I told Obama that was the slush fund payoff. Soon as the DOJ got that information, got my legal briefs, all hell broke loose. Eric Holden lost his job. Boehner lost his job a year later. Deborah Cohen lost her job the same year. And the judge lost his job the same day I won the lawsuit. Okay, what about it? Come on now, folks. Is that a coincidence?
No, not at all. We have more questions. Go ahead, Keanu. I'm sorry.
Yes. I did want to get to everyone's questions because I mean they were just flowing, Miss Sophia and Ricardo. I believe your answer was your question was answered as far as the litigations and so she won the franchise, she owns the franchise, so when it comes to royalties and everything, she owns the franchise. So I think there, but Ricardo also, he offered to really help, so maybe we can connect you guys together. He offered to help really protect your website from the malicious attacks and the
and I really
yes
need him.
he
Yeah, I really need him. If you give him my email address or my phone number, because I really need him, because they've done this and destroyed some of the most valuable websites that I have. This is how horrible and evil they are and despicable.
Yes. Okay, so we definitely will get you guys connected. So he offered that. And then we had another question. I was all the way up here. Sorry, okay, so Ace, he wanted to know who is Faceless One?
Oh yeah, well
he wanted to know who
he has to get the book, get the Matrix 4 book, which is the continuation, and to find out who the Faceless One is, because it's a new character for part 4. You're the 4th installment. You got to get the book and read it, because I don't want to give away that to people, because it's a very important character. And let me tell you who wanted to play that role. Lou Gossett Jr. He called me, and Della Reese, he wanted to be the Oracle. You know what I'm saying? So there's actors and actresses that have been calling who wants to be in the Matrix, including Janet Jackson called me, 50 Cent called me, Faison Love, quite a lot of people, celebrities.
They want Steph wants to know, are the albino twins from the Matrix, the second Matrix movie, are they in the Third Eye book?
No, the twins are not in there. That was supposed to be the Wachowski brothers trying to put themselves into the work, trying to add themselves, because they knew that I had put myself in my own work as the Oracle, because I saw Alfred Hitchcock doing it, I saw Stephen King doing it, I saw Spike Lee doing it. So they were just copying it off of me. They had heard some of my interviews, and they knew who the Oracle was, and so they created these ghost things that had nothing to do with computer network or technology or anything. This, because the work is not about ghosts and shapeshifters. It's actually about computers and UFO technology. You see what I'm talking about? And consciousness. You see what I'm saying? It's not about ghosts. It's not about witchcraft. And it's not about shapeshifters. That's all to do with, Hollywood. Holly is the tree that the witches got their wands from, witchcraft. I'm not dealing in witchcraft. I'm dealing in spirituality and consciousness and computer and alien technologies and computer networks.
There's something I want to add too. A lot of people may not know this. After the first Matrix film, the Wachowski brothers really didn't want to do a sequel. I don't think people realize that. And they got in a position where they had to do a trilogy or do 2 more films. They didn't want to, when they agreed to do the second movie, they wanted that to be it. So that's why we had.
Well, you know why? They wanted it to be it, because they couldn't write it.
That's right.
And one thing, they were scared that they were going to go to jail, because everybody was shaking in their boots, because I was bringing it home with the FBI and the DOJ that some of these people in Hollywood need to go to jail, because they need to send a message to stop stealing from the common people. Because when they used to buy it from the people, we had great movies. We had great diversity. The theaters were filled up because people would get to see their own work on the screen. But Hollywood felt like they didn't need the people or the public, that they could just steal and do what they want, because, they were backed by the government, for propaganda. So this is why I wanted to make changes. Do you get what I'm saying? This is why I was pushing for them to go to jail. This is why I didn't take the settlement. They offered me $5 to $7 million for my copyrights, which are worth billions of dollars. But this is why I wouldn't sell out. This is why I fought for the people. So you guys can get your movies on the screen. Yet the very people that I fought for are the ones with this ignorance and this smear that I'm dealing with.
You know, the point I wanted to make with the second and the third film is, think about the first film. The first film was a really good film. It was very well done. The second and the third film was stupid for the most part. It wasn't as good. Now, they all of a sudden got dumb? You know what I mean? Like, think about it.
Well,
think about it logically. They were so brilliant to come up with the first Matrix, and then they just got stupid. And the second and third one was...
the deal is that they didn't write the Matrix, and they couldn't talk about it. They cannot go on anywhere and do any interviews. They even signed contracts to never do any interviews because they're going to get showed up. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody, they got to have lawyers there because they're perjuring themselves. And anything that you come on, I get taped and recorded all the time. I got 4,000 in newspaper, front page newspapers, radio, television, the whole magazine, the whole 9 yards. So now if I was lying, I'm on tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then this has been going on since 2003. Anybody can go on YouTube and listen to me. And I'm calling these people liars and thieves. And if I was telling a lie, come on now, they would be getting me for slander.
Oh yeah, they would have. If it was a lie, they would have tried to put her under the jail. So, but I want people to think about it logically. The same.
Yeah, but look at this.
But
look at this. But wait a minute. But look at this. None of them has ever filed a lawsuit.
Not one.
Me, and none of them has ever called me a liar. You know who's the people are calling me liars and calling me names? Is people who don't even understand the law. People that I told them they don't need you to protect them. They got money. They got reputations. They got lawyers. They don't need to come in. You need to be defending the truth. You need to be finding out, because when you come to sell your work, they're going to do the same thing to you. If you don't get on the bandwagon and start protecting your work, protecting others' work, protecting the truth, protects your work. Exposing Hollywood and the graft and the lies is what we need to do. Then your work will be seen on the screen. Then you won't have to worry about your copyrighted work being stolen. Because when Kim.com stole from the studios, they made the FBI go all the way to New Zealand and take confiscate his property and his money and his bank account to arrest him. Come on, you guys. When you go out and you bootleg movies and you sell them, they come after you. They send the feds after you. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. They need to go to jail for stealing your copyrighted work. What do you think we're doing? We're paying the government $65 every time. That's millions and billions of dollars to protect our copyrights. They're going to protect the rich people's property and not protect yours and send you to court. Why? Why are they going to send you to court? You don't have a contract when a man comes into your yard and steals your car. You don't have no contract when he comes in there and he steals your money out of your house. What is the cops going to tell you? Take them to court when they rob you? Come on. You're paying the same $65 that the studio is paying. Except they're protecting the rich people's work and property, but not yours.
Right. I just want, before we get to the question, I want people to think about it. When you watch the 3 Matrix films, there's a big drop off after the first film. Now you know why. Because they needed more stealing that wasn't available to them. They didn't just get stupid. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have Miss Sophia's work to take. So they only had a little bit of it. But that's the reason why there was such a drop off between the second and third film. And these were the same alleged writers of the first one. And that doesn't pass the smell test. So go ahead, Kiana.
Yes, I just wanted to continue with the questions because there are so many questions. So And I know that we want to be respectful of you, Miss Sophia, as well. But they wanted to know if you had a GoFundMe.
Yes, I have. Yes,
They
yes, I
just
do
said,
have a
does she
GoFundMe
really have
for
a
my
GoFundMe
trademark case.
campaign?
That is my third court case, a trademark case, where they have the fraudulent trademark up, which I'm having taken down because it belongs to me. You see what I'm talking about? So that is a GoFund that, and they are supporting me. And of course, they be blocking on that. They do a lot of blocking behind closed doors when people try to use PayPal, or they come on and try to do something to give me money. They will put in little, where the buttons is not working. Because, the fans will email me or they will call me because I have a contact number on the website. The contact number 310-987-7862. So the fans will let me know every time what's going on and how they're sabotaging me. And they really don't want, because see, it's 7 billion people on Earth, 7 billion people. And maybe about 200 million people know about this case. And that's nothing. That's a little tiny fraction. So when I went on Coast to Coast with 50 million, I started going viral on there immediately with John B. Wells, and they cut my my hour to like about 20 or 25 minutes because it just blew up the show and people were calling in and everything. It scares them because if I do any mainstream media right now announcing that I won the court case, it's gonna go viral and it's gonna change everything. And this is what they're scared of. Can you see what I'm saying?
And
Can you
also
understand what they're scared of?
think about it in this term too. Now we all have degrees of financial success. What would you do to protect $200 in your wallet? Think about that. And what do you think they would do to protect billions of dollars of an industry that was created from this work? So if you wouldn't let nobody take $200 out your wallet, what do you think they would do? So people have to really understand what's at stake. So was there any more questions?
Yeah, there was a question where a person said, what would you do to improve copyright laws? The copyright laws, there's nothing wrong with the laws. The problem is with the law enforcement who enforces the law. Just like it's what's wrong with your policemen that are enforcing the law and your DOJ that's enforcing the law. That's where the problem is. You can't make these people enforce the law that they should enforce the law, but you can remove them out of office. Because if they don't protect your copyrights and they only protect the rich people's rights and copyrights, come on. It's a double standard. Come on, you guys. You cannot be that insensitive or unknowing that you don't know what's going on here in America. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that you guys are dummies and y'all don't know what's going on. I don't believe some of the questions that you guys are asking right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, are there any more questions? Actually, let me do a quick chat room shout out. We have Dante. We have Ricardo, Rashim. We have Steph. We have Gloria. We have Lashonda. We have Michael. Douglas. We have the Vegas Vigilante. We have Fitzgerald, Dr. Vibe, Robert, as well as Steve. And for everybody who's listening to the podcast, thank you as well. And so I'm going to go back to Miss Sophia. Oh, wait, we have Dante's coming on.
Dante! Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening because she answered a lot of my questions early on, so I really didn't have that many for you. I just want to know, and when Kennedy for the idea of the Matrix, when you came out with, I just want to know the mindset or what played a big role in you creating it. I know I know it was, when Kennedy died, it was assassination. Frequency warfare
Yes.
played a big part in it as far as DOMA, which was the I got my notes right. So it's the electronic dissolution of memory and consciousness. Did that play a big role in as far as when you was looking at Neo and the agents, as far as when and what the CIA did was, this is actually a true story, or it's actually true, where they actually take your consciousness away using different frequencies as far as the matrix is concerned, and turning you over as an agent to them to work for them. Did that play a big role in you creating a matrix, or did you have that idea? So that's my question.
So wait a minute. Your question is now what is your question? Because you did
when you were thinking about the matrix, the mindset that you were going through, did that play a role as far as DOMA and like I call it frequency warfare. So I mean DOMA, which is the electronic dissolution of memory and consciousness. So did that actually play a role in your thought process while creating the matrix?
No, it didn't play any role process, because when you are creative and it's talking about the beginning, the middle, and the end, and it's not about, you don't be thinking out what you're thinking about. It's the creative writing that makes you think what you just said. It's good writing. It's creative writing, because what a writer does is just create. They create the plot, they create the concept, they create the characters, the graphics, those things. And they put it all together cohesively. So when you get the story, it makes you think about those things that you just asked.
Got you.
Because I'm talking about computer networks. I'm talking about alien technology and frequencies and numbers and energy, and quantum physics. Because Matrix, when you look at it, is quantum physics. It's ancient sacred geometry. They come all the way from Kemet. You know what I'm talking about?
Another question.
It's calculus.
Hey, Dante. Okay. Before you ask your second question, please announce your name for the listeners on the podcast, because we want to be fair that everyone that jumps in state their name.
Name and where you're located.
Oh, my name is Dante
and where you're located.
I'm calling in from Atlanta, Georgia. That was the main one I wanted to know, as far as like when you said Thomas A. Adams, you just said about Kemet and the language for Kemet. Did you specifically give him that name, Thomas A. Adams?
I didn't have to give him Thomas Anderson, because these people are nothing but a conductor, and they're interpreting my work the same way a conductor interpreted the compositions of Beethoven or Mozart, or when you're interpreting 50 Cent's work or Jay-Z's. You didn't come up with anything in their work. Well, when you're listening to their work, it gives you ideas. It makes you think.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm talking about? It's the same way when someone copies a song. If they copy Respect, and Aretha Franklin did Respect, and then someone does another version of Respect, or they add something to Respect, it doesn't take away or make it greater or better or worse, because you're interpreting somebody's work.
In her book, the character's name wasn't.
It wasn't Thomas A. Adams.
Yeah, so Thomas is the apostle that was with Jesus.
That's why I wanted.
And
that's
Neo,
why I wanted to get
Neo. Yeah, it did come from me, Neo, because Neo is a sneaky way of calling him the one. ONENEO.
Right.
And the Trinity, that did come from me, because her name is Trifini, and Trifini is a form of Trinity. And the mother, Sarah Connor, her name in the book is Isis, and the baby Jesus.
Right. That's what I was looking at when you said TAA. That was a Kemetic language, and it meant for light force.
Was the baby
also
bird.
When you said
they didn't invent anything or create anything. Do you see
what
I'm talking about?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you put, because I know you said when you said you started talking about comedic language, TAA for Thomas A. Adams it stands for Light Force, and so that's why I want to know. I wanted to know, did you actually put those together? I was like, oh, okay, this is deep right here, okay, because it was like meet me on Adams Street, and stuff like that. So I started,
yeah, but see,
that.
when you're interpreting,
Okay.
when you're interpreting an author's work, they did the same thing with J.R. Tolkien's work, Lords of the Rings. But he's dead. But see, this is the thing that with most people, they need to get the book and read it. Because when you get the book got all the details in there. It breaks down all of the things that you see. And wow, now I know where they got that from. The red and the blue pill. It's in the book. You see what I'm talking about?
Wow.
I'll be back. Yeah. All right.
Where he lands naked. That's in the book verbatimly. Verbatim. Some of the stuff is just verbatim. There's no, there's no pretense.
Right.
There's a video online where they show scenes from the Terminator film and read the book. Read the book while you see the scenes playing out in the Terminator movie.
Yeah, we did that. I did that. That was done by me. That's what I produced. Mm-hmm. I broke it down so people can actually see while they're reading the Third Eye book, they can see the graphics in the Terminator movie, where you actually see the breakdown. And I entered that movie into the courts of Utah. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, it was entered into the courts as evidence as to where all the copyrighted work come from. They were so stupid that they never knew that the technology was going to catch up with them. You know how you don't know that in 1999, the computer is going to go commercialized, and everything that you did, you're going to get caught. Because back in the day, they would steal, and the people didn't have money to pay for different investigators to come out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they would get away with it, but they couldn't get away with it, now because the computer is out and the computer actually catches you. Do you see what I'm talking about? Now all you have to do is just let your fingers do the shopping online. Yep. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's my question.
All right. Thank you so much, Dante. And thanks for in the chat room as well, and all the people that has been doing that. Let's see. We have another question. What?
Fitz question. He's so silly.
Oh. Okay. I lost it. I lost the question. Do you see it?
Oh no, he's just being silly.
Okay. All right. So for those who want to pick up the Matrix 4 and see any of your other works, how can they do so?
Yeah, they can go to my website, truthaboutmatrix.com. That's www.truthaboutmatrix.com. And they can get the physical books, which they'll get in 3 to 4 days, or they can get ebooks if they have tablets and so forth. I even have the Kindle version if they want that, or the PDF, whatever their preference is. But they should get it and read and see for themselves and not let anybody tell them or create lies and illusions for them. Find out the truth for yourself. You don't even have to listen to me. Go out and dig for the truth. It's worth it. It's worth it for you to see, because that way nobody can fool or use you in the system.
That's right.
Because they feel like they can just dummy anybody down and use anybody in the media. And this is what the Matrix and the Terminator was talking about. How the media and the machines, the banks and the corporations actually turns you into fodder. How they use you through the system. Because you're too lazy to look for the truth. You'd rather have somebody to tell you a lie than to dig for the truth.
Mm-hmm. like that scene with the steak where I can't remember the guy's I know it's Joe Pantoliano, I believe is his name. I can't remember what his character was. Where
Yeah, his name was Cyphers.
Cypher.
Cypher.
There you go.
Cypher rather he knew he wasn't eating steak. He knew he was eating mush, but he'd rather buy into the lie than to go out and look for the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a prime example of people. That's why that was in there, just to show people just how gullible they are, and they just rather take the program. They'd rather take the lie in the program than to be freed out of the matrix, than to have total freedom.
Yeah.
It's just too hard for them to dig for the truth or to accept the truth.
That's right. Kiana, how can people get you social media and tell us about Happy Work Week?
Yes, you can get me across the board, happyworkweek.com. Facebook group is facebook.com/group/happyworkweek. I'm also have a Facebook page, Happy Work Week. But across the board, Twitter, Tumblr, all Happy Work Week. And the book, I'm done with the book, so you are welcome to go to happyworkweek.com to purchase 7 Days of Happiness. It is amazing, and I actually started groups here locally to help people with their happiness daily. So I hope you guys check it out. And Kente, how can people find you on social media?
And I'm going to be making the movie version of 7 Days of Happiness.
Yes.
You can follow me at Kente F. You can go to our website, indyradio.org, indyradio.org. And of course, we'll be back next week with an all new episode at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, right here, Blab, as well as Indie Radio of Black Empowerment 365. Thank you so much once again, Ms. Stewart, and everybody that came and listened and participated. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. Enjoyed it very much. Love telling the truth and getting it out there to others.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
All right. Bye-bye, you guys.